Hey, welcome back to the channel. Um, Sorry for the short hiatus on videos. Most of you probably already know, but for those of you that don't and haven't seen my last video, had to put my dog down, Louie, and just took the wind out of my sails a little bit. He was the dog that I had with me from my early 20s to my early 30s, and he was there for a lot of benchmarks in my life, my wedding, and having kids, and really becoming a man. And it really kind of tore me up losing a friend like that. But life goes on, and we got to get back to work. So what we're going to cover today, I'm gonna take some 14 gauge steel, and the areas of the pickup bed that the corrugated steel didn't cover, just in the corners, I'm going to use the 14 gauge steel. I'm going to use it and anchor it to the bed sub rails. A lot of the structure in a 81 Toyota bed looks like it comes from those areas. The sub rails aren't anchored to anything but the bed floor, so I have to sink that in. What I'm going to do is, because the bolts that they used to be able to unbolt the sub rails from the bed floor, they're super corroded, and this bed's not gonna get taken apart again. It was on its way to get junked, and I was gonna build a flatbed for my buddy originally, and I told him, hey, let's just put that bed back together, because he really wanted the bed on it, and it's gonna last for years and years and years to come. But it's about making it sturdy and looking pretty good and functioning. This is going to be a trail rig and a hunting rig. It's no show restoration or anything. I'm not taking this real far like I would on like my Roadster or something like that. It's just about getting it straight, making it strong. It's going to all get Raptor lined, so a lot of the the little welds and stuff like that, little imperfections, you won't see them when it's all said and done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes and rosette weld the old panhead screws bolts that held the sub rails on. I'm just going to rosette weld those right to the 14 gauge, and then weld the corrugated steel to the 14 gauge, and that should give us a pretty nice stout joint in all four corners. And then we'll get some etching primer on the underside and on the upper side just to seal it all up. And that should conclude this corner, besides the outer patches. The truck has a couple of small holes that went all the way through, so we're going to do a small strip patch on the outside of the bed as well, but not in this video. I also sourced some wheel wells. These ones are really dented, and I could take a lot of time and hammer all the dents out, but these wheel wells were $30 for the pair, out of a bed that was in really rough shape, that was going to get crushed. So I just opted to take those wheel wells, and I'll cut patches out of them. There are areas that are rusted on this bed that these patches will replace, so it'll be a nice seamless fix, as opposed to hammering out dents and then making a bunch of little patches to go around the wheel wells. It'll really make for a nice repair. That'll be in the next video. In this one, we're just going to do that 14 gauge panel, get it all burned in and primered up. So enjoy the video, and let's do it. Here I'm marking the spots for those rosette welds I was talking about to the sub rails. Here I'm using my step bit to get those holes the right size for the pan head bolts to fit through so I can rosette weld them in now that I've got them all cleaned up. Here I'm going to spray some etching primer on the back side, the underside, before I get it in place. Now that I've got the sub rails all cleaned up and I've got the pan head bolts, got the heads all cleaned up for welding. Just trying to get some primer, some seal in spots where I won't be able to get access later. tack welding the corrugated bed material down to that 14 gauge right now. Just pressing down with a screwdriver to get it tight and putting some tacks down. I'll do a full bead on it after I get it all in position. I decided to cut and fold this in right here, the corrugated steel. I don't mind so much the openings in the back, but on the uphill side, it could drag against things or create some issues there. So I snipped it. I'm hammering it down, and then I'll weld it all in and blend it. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Appreciate all the comments and feedback. Appreciate the new subscribers. Channel's been growing. Make sure if you're enjoying the content, I know everybody says, hey, hit that notification bell, subscribe, comment, but it really does help, especially with these channels, that are new. Helps grow, helps the algorithm get our videos out to more people, so we can get more views and the channel can grow even further. The goal for me is to document. Mainly, I started the channel to document my Roadster build and a couple other projects I'm working on. But also, at some point I might be able to get this channel monetized, and I might be able to squeeze a couple of ad dollars out of YouTube to help pay me for some of these parts and stuff that I need, because this stuff isn't cheap, and I'm building everything on a budget. I mean, it's a shoestring budget, and I'm not a wealthy man, but I like building cool stuff, and I try to do as much of it myself as I can. But it costs money. The front drop axle on my Roadster alone was $550. It's not cheap. So if you can find the time, I'd appreciate a subscribe click out of you. And I'll try to keep putting out good content for you guys and keep it interesting for you. So thanks.